Welcome back, friends. It's been a little bit. I'm so very sorry. We're going to finish Pax this week. We're going to read chapters 31 through 33 today because they're very short, and then I did not want to just conclude in one video, so we will read chapter 34 on its own another time this week. I'm hoping tomorrow, but we'll just see with how things have been going lately. Um, not only I'm not even gonna get into all the crazy stuff going on right now, just in life. But making a YouTube channel is hard. And maybe it's just because I'm old, but like I really have been working very hard to make my channel look a little bit more professional. I say as I have like a huge lump of blankets behind me because my dogs just have to be in every video I post. Um, Hopefully at some point I'll have a more professional looking setup. We'll see. But I wanted to start with thumbnails. I wanted to start with an intro and outro. I wanted to start with um the kind of captions I've been writing in the video caption section. I worked very hard along with a friend of mine to make these thumbnails, which are going fine. It's just time consuming, but also make a intro and outro. And this is just me being tired and having too much on my plate. But in my intro, I misspelled the word welcome at one point. Like it says, "Welcome to class, Mrs. Keller," and it has like different fonts if you've seen it. And one of the fonts I used, either I misspelled or autocorrected in such a way that welcome is misspelled. So have to fix the intro, which means all of the re-uploads that I worked very meticulously to. I say meticulously, I'm not a video editor. They still look like this. This is the quality you're gonna get with me, at least at this point right now. Um, but as far as trying to add something to what I'm already posting, it just is taking me a long time because I don't know how to do these things. And I just am feeling so discouraged. I had to take a couple of days off because I just was so frustrated. I'm going to be honest with you. I got copyright struck from using music in my intro and outro that I found on a free to use, copyright free music website, you know? So that's where Mrs. Keller is at. Everyone has frustrating days. And so I've been having a couple of frustrating days lately. Um, the health of some of my loved ones lately has been very not good. But there are still good things happening. There's no snow on the ground outside right now. Um, I work with some wonderful students who I tutor in the evenings after work. I have a wonderful coworker who I enjoy working with. I have a wonderful husband and family and some pretty cute dogs if they decide to show themselves. But yeah, man, it's just been a little rough, and I'm sorry. I don't mean to bring you down or anything. I just want you to understand where I'm coming from and why you might have seen two whole chapter books that I had read previously that I had added the intro and outro to. I added the new thumbnail, I added the new caption with like questions to consider while you're listening to the stuff, and I had to delete them. Oh, so I had to take a step back for a few days. I'm back. Okay, I need to refocus. I'm back. We're going to continue reading Pax. I love reading this book with you. I'm so thankful to my friends in California who recommended we read this book. I think it's a great book. I think it's very necessary right now. Whew. Um, so we're going to continue Pax, and I'm so happy that you're here with me. And hopefully I didn't bring you down too much. And I'm just I'm thrilled to be here with you. So I appreciate you. I'm very, very grateful. I'll get this YouTube thing figured out. There's just not enough time in the day. But in the meantime, I can read you Pax and we can finish this story. And hopefully, you've seen my video where I have recommended some books to you, and we don't even have to pick from those books. You can recommend books to me. So hopefully, you've got some idea of what book you would like me to read next. And maybe until you guys help me decide, I use that time to figure out how YouTube works because I'm just at a loss. Pax, chapter 31. Let's get into it. Pax reached the tree just as the coyote sprang again, this time finding enough purchase to hang from the branch. Pax flew at him and bit a mouthful of brindled fur and hung on. The coyote dropped and sank his teeth into Pax's shoulder. All in one motion, Pax jerked free, and then back toward the south edge of the clearing, hoping to lead the coyote away from the tree, away from the den, away from the foxes he loved. The coyote didn't follow. He threw back his head and barked. And then he turned to eye Bristle again. Pax lowered himself and began to creep back toward the tree. But then he stopped. He swung his head toward a sound from the encampment. His boy's voice? Ahead, the tall coyote barked again, and this time the call was answered. 3 sets of ears cocked at the same spot in the juniper ring. A second coyote trotted out. Another male, this one pale and stocky. He surveyed the scene and broke into a gallop for the tree. Bristle issued another strut yowl and spiked her fur, but Pax saw her eyes roll in terror. The second coyote pawed at the trunk, and then Pax heard it again, his boy calling his name. He bolted out of the clearing and through the stand of trees. At the ridgeline above the mill, he stopped. Warsick men streamed from the walls, sticks raised, converging on a figure down of the field. It was a black-haired youth curled on the burned ground. His boy? The wind, blowing from the north, told him nothing. The soldiers stopped, their sticks still menacing. The boy rose. He was tall, but Pax saw that his body didn't look like Peter's. This boy's shoulders were thrown wide and braced under one was a narrow pole. Stranger still, this boy held his head high, not canted downward. He faced the men in defiance, something Pax had never seen Peter do, and raised his fist and shook it at them. A single soldier ran down to the field. This one moved like his boy's father. He shouted, and the voice was familiar. But then the man walked to the boy and embraced him, something Pax had never seen the father do. Were these his humans? Pax tried to scent, but the gusting breeze carried only the musk of enraged coyotes. He turned back for the clearing. Real quick, here are some questions for you for chapter 31. Why did Pax stop helping Bristle? Is question 1. Question 2, what changes did Pax notice about Peter? And question 3, who did Peter find with the soldiers? Let's go ahead and read chapter 32 next. Peter let his father hug him. For so many years, he had wanted to be in that circle of protective love. He felt his father quake with sobs, and he wanted to reassure him that everything was all right, but it wasn't. His hands stayed clenched. one on the crutch grip, one on the toy soldier. He pulled away. "What are you doing here? You told me you would only be laying wire." And then he understood everything at once. Why the men hadn't advanced. How the grasses had been burned and the trees uprooted and the river strangled with rocks. How there would be nothing left of a fox but a single leg. You knew. He shoved the toy soldier into his pocket and picked up the fox leg. You knew, and you did this. Pax. My one single question for you about chapter 32 is, why is Peter so angry with his father? And finally today, another very short chapter, chapter 33. Again, Pax thought he heard his boy's voice. He pricked his ears back to the camp. Just then, the wind shifted. Pax smelled the war-sick sweat, their cordite, their motor fuel, their charred fields, and his two humans. He ran back to the ridge. He saw his boy lift something from the ground, a stick but not a stick, something furred and broken. The grief-yearning scent rolled up the hill, fresh and keen from his boy, but also old and strained from his boy's father. So this scent was not Peter's alone. It was the scent of humans. His boy held the broken thing above his head and cried something angry. And then, Pax! And Pax barked. My one single question for chapter 33. How did Pax know it was Peter and his dad below the ridge? Sorry for giving you maybe too much information at the beginning of this video, but I've always approached this channel kind of like I have as a classroom teacher, as a tutor, as a human being. It's just human. These experiences that we have in life, and I'm just not someone who is going to, I don't want to say hide, but just keep it all behind the curtain. I want you to know me, and this is the real me, and these are the struggles that I have because I'm not an IT person. And I also want you guys to know how much I appreciate you and that you give my channel any time at all because it's just me reading stories and talking to you. And I appreciate our time together. So thank you for joining me. Again, I'm sorry it's been a while, and I hope you'll join me again when we finish Pax. I'm not ready. I know that there's another book, at least one more, but how's this gonna end? There's one chapter left, and it's not very long. Ugh. All right. Well, you guys have a great day. Stay safe. And I'll see you next time. Thanks again. Bye.